to the Lawsalooza podcast, a legal comedy podcast where we discuss some of the most ridiculous laws and funny court cases from around the world, all while sipping on an adult beverage related in some way to the theme of that week. My name is Miranda Dews.
I'm Shauna Vasilko.
And I'm Lindsey Reedy.
We are three North Carolina attorneys bringing you a unique twist on legal cases. However, please do not construe anything in this podcast as legal advice. This is not legal advice. Do not forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, YouTube,
Amazon.
Thank you. I knew there was one more. And you can also find our website on Podpage or Linktree if you want to see all of these links together in one little website. You can find us there.
all the things.
All the things.
We're everywhere.
Yes. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as Lawsalooza Podcast. If you want to see some behind-the-scenes content or drop us a line, please feel free to follow us there. Or if you have a law or court case suggestion or you want to send us a note, you can email us. It's at lawsaloozapodcast@gmail.com. Now for our next episode. This week's theme is marriage.
Ooh. Yikes.
Our first segment will be all about the alcoholic drink, but before that, we'll give you a little sneak peek about the law in the case we're going to discuss.
So my law is on how a proposal to seduce a young woman in South Carolina is a misdemeanor, and in other states, it's actually a felony.
Oh, man.
Wow. And the case this week has to do with, let's just say, untraditional marriages.
Oh, no.
Once again, I have been warned to give a content warning.
Just a little one.
By Shauna again. This happens every time I make the drink.
It's not as bad as the last one.
Okay, not as bad as the last one. You can mute us a little bit later, I guess. I have no idea what we're talking about. I was just told to give you all this just kidding, listener discretion warning.
No view warning.
You can keep watching. Watch us. You
keep watching.
May not want to listen to us. I don't know.
Mute us so we get that view.
And if you have any complaints, you can direct those to Shauna. This was her idea. So.
The family law attorney. It fits.
So it does. It checks out. Anyways, on to the drink. Our drink this week is called Love Potion, which I thought was maybe related to marriage, but maybe also not. But we'll just pretend. If you're married, you probably love someone at one point. So
maybe
here we
not
go.
anymore, but
so this actually, fun fact, is the very first cocktail I've ever made.
Whoop whoop.
It smells delicious.
Yeah.
So
it smells
and
so
she
good.
didn't spill it.
Sorry, that's me.
I didn't spill it, no. But I did almost shake it without putting the lid on the cocktail shaker because I didn't know that's how things worked.
She's homeschooled.
True facts.
Did they not have cocktail making?
I did not take that class. No, I did not.
Should we direct that towards your mother?
Yeah, you can send any comments to my mom about that. Just kidding, please do not spam my mother. So this cocktail is made with a little bit of vodka, a little bit of peach liqueur, and a lot of cran raspberry juice because if you're like me, you don't want to taste anything but the juice. So it's probably mostly juice. Also, fun fact, the recipe called for raspberry juice, and I couldn't find it at the grocery store, so I got diet cran raspberry.
It's a nice mix-up.
So it'll do 5 calories, guys.
And it's your variation of it. A Lawsalooza variation.
So it may not taste good, but here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
That's
good.
Okay.
I like it.
Look at that.
Maybe you should make more cocktails.
Maybe I should. Okay.
That is really
I have
good.
A secret talent. I think it's because it's like
we're making a request that you do this more often.
It's 95% juice. So thanks, Ocean Spray. Okay, I think now on to the law.
Okay, so we actually, before we started shooting this episode, we had some conversations about there has to be a ton of crazy marriage laws. Well, there in fact is. And I found one that is with our good old neighbor, South Carolina. And fortunately, this is not necessarily a crazy law. I think the idea behind it is a good one, but maybe some of the elements of it could use some modernizing, adjusting, what have you.
But it's still a good law on the books?
I think so. Like, practically speaking, I'll read the law to you and you can tell me. So this law comes from Title 16, Crimes and Offenses, Chapter 15, Offenses Against Morality and Decency, and Article 1, Miscellaneous Offenses in the South Carolina Code of Laws, unannotated version. So the first sentence of this law, which kind of sums it up, and then we can talk through some of the elements, is a male over the age of 16 years who, by means of deception and promise of marriage, seduces an unmarried woman in this state, is guilty of a misdemeanor, and, upon conviction, must be fined at the discretion of the court or imprisoned not more than 1 year. So, practically speaking, I feel like this is a good law, right? We don't want men or women, which I feel like maybe there needs to be some more inclusivity here, should be seducing anyone by proposing to them. Like, that seems like a practically good law, right?
Yeah, you should only mean it if you're proposing.
Exactly. So, obviously, the elements here, the boy or man has to be over 16. It has to be...
We'll call it a boy if it's 16.
Yeah. Has to be an unmarried woman, must use a means of deception and promise of marriage, must seduce her, and State v. Turner, which is a Supreme Court ruling in South Carolina, actually defined this more as you have to have sex. So that's how it's defined. Things below that do not count here. It actually has to be. I'm trying to figure out a word or a way to avoid using the word penetrative, but it has to be that version of sex. So anyways, and then also you have to have corroborating testimony. So in South Carolina, the testimony of the woman is not enough. You have to have someone that comes in and testifies that this happened. If not, you can't, it's not enough.
How many people are you having around when this is going on?
I don't know.
That's a great question. What I was thinking, like, who else could testify? Because you can't force the defendant to testify against themselves. So
that's actually a good question. So I did look to see how many cases there was in South Carolina. There were 16 criminal and civil cases for this law.
Ever or like
ever.
Recent? Oh, okay.
When was it?
That's a great question that I do not know the answer to. Looks like maybe 1962.
Oh, so not very many.
Okay. Well, I understandably so. Do not know why you would really want to like
no
put all that out there.
True.
No, I mean it. Yeah.
Especially with needing the multiple witnesses.
Yeah, that's a
like,
great
what do they
question.
have to witness? The
I
proposal,
think,
or
so they have to witness that this deception portion of it. You have to have someone testify that the woman was deceived by the boy or the man that was proposing to her. So, very interesting. Also, another part of this law that goes further into depth is that this woman must not be lewd or unchaste.
Oh, okay.
For this to be appropriate to bring.
well, that might explain why there's not many cases too.
Yeah,
but like that sounds like improper character evidence.
Oh,
it's interesting. So in State v. Turner, that Supreme Court case I was referencing, so the lewd and unchaste is actually in the law itself, but the court said that the South Carolina General Assembly did not intend for the chastity of the injured woman to be an ingredient of the offense necessary to be set up in the indictment. So essentially the way it works is that the defendant has to prove that she is lewd and unchaste. Now, I'll break this down once we start going more
I can
into
see why
victim.
only 16 people ever brought this.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, they start pulling skeletons out of your closet.
As a victim of a crime, I would not be interested in them talking about anything about me.
Out there.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels so. I think the first sentence of this law feels like, okay, to me, this seems like practically a great law to have. But then as you start to kind of dive into it more and really break down the elements, it just seems like
archaic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it really needs to be modernized. and obviously some things need to be rethought. But so the defense to being prosecuted for this is you have to actually get married. So if this is brought, if you're indicted for this and then you subsequently marry the woman, then it won't be upheld, or they'll stay the proceedings or something.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because then you weren't seducing her into marriage.
With
You actually married her.
Marriage, you actually did it, yeah.
But theoretically, would that not cause more problems though, right? Like,
well, yeah, because you'd marry someone to get out of it and then just divorce someone you can.
Exactly.
You think family law attorneys helped write this?
Probably.
I think men helped write
yeah.
it.
I don't know. I feel like family law attorneys are much more competent than what.
Yeah, this was definitely not. I'm going to say not written by a family law attorney, by someone who's like heard of family law and is like, how can we make this more criminal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And so this is treated as a Class C misdemeanor. And like I said earlier, it has to be fined by the court, or you can face imprisonment, which seems
like a lot.
Kind of like a lot. I mean, I think that may be up for debate depending on what your experiences are, but imprisonment up to a year kind of seems aggressive, but
just a little.
Who knows? I guess maybe it's fact dependent.
Yeah, or your criminal history.
Yeah.
Could play a lot into it. Like if you've done this like multiple times,
yeah.
maybe they should imprison
you.
Straight
to jail.
Yeah.
Straight to jail. Not like
I don't think that's good for a criminal defense attorney to say.
I'm not in South Carolina.
Yeah, that's right.
Very true.
That's very right. Well, so this is, like I said earlier, this statute is actually present in a ton of different states, but there's different variations of it. So when I was looking into it, some of the interesting variations came into play. Like New Jersey is the only state that has an added element that you have to become pregnant.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That's extreme.
Yeah. I was reading a law review article on it, and they seem to agree with that. Of like, okay, why does it have to escalate to that for this to be able to be prosecuted?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that
goes far.
Yeah, like what actually is the value of that?
New Jersey has some weird laws. So there's a whole township in New Jersey where you can't flirt.
What?
Oh,
it's illegal to flirt.
We did read that. It is illegal to flirt. Now, what flirting means, I don't know because I didn't really read more than that. I saw that and was like, what?
So they were like putting the kibosh down on all kinds of stuff in New Jersey to do with love and marriage and flirting and relationships.
How does that work though? You just like go up to someone, not flirt, and be like, yeah, we're dating. What? How does that happen?
Oh, I don't know what they define as flirting also.
And it's just one particular township, so it's not like all of New Jersey.
That's still wild.
Maybe we'll do like a bonus episode on just that.
The New Jersey episode.
Yeah.
What is going on in your state? We don't know.
Question mark.
We'll take a deep dive look.
So that was interesting to me. And then chastity, which is brought up in the South Carolina statute, is also defined very differently in each state. So, for example, Rhode Island defines in the actual statute that a woman must not have been a prostitute or a woman known of immoral character. So, like a prostitute or an equal to that.
See, that's just...
I agree, right?
Yeah.
But, anyways, moving on. And then there's also age limitations for women, for the victim.
Okay. Like you can't be an old woman?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So listen to this.
Rude.
Listen
Very
to this.
rude.
So there's none in South Carolina. Go South Carolina. You got that part right. Mississippi, though, the woman has to be over the age of 18. So that was one where they limited the age at starting at 18, which I thought was interesting. Because I think potentially the whole purpose of this law was to protect young women, and I would think if we would modernize it, young men, from being seduced by older people or things of that nature via a proposal.
Okay.
Maybe that has to do with like a raise the age thing in Mississippi. Maybe that's why they said 18.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm guessing that could be because they're not prosecuting
But that was for the victim, not
Right,
for
so
the
maybe I'm
victim.
saying it matches
I don't know.
with the victim and the perpetrator.
Unless they have a different law for, like, that's specifically for
and juvenile.
juveniles or something. Because I feel like, yeah, the intent would be to protect, like, a young, impressionable person from being, you know, like, enticed away by...
Couldn't you say you'd want to do that with the elderly, too? Well, that are...
I don't know.
Yeah, are lonely and...
This is just, like, more
know.
Jane Austen. Wickham, you know, enticing away Lydia.
But no, so that Mississippi's law makes no sense to me. I'm not sure why it would be over the age of 18. I feel like it completely misses the purpose of the law. But in Texas, it's women must be under the age of 25, which I still feel like maybe misses the mark. Because
rude. I'm offended.
Yeah.
Someone older than 25, I'm offended.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems odd to me to have age restrictions on this. Because I don't feel like maybe with age you get more experience on, like, character.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that's not true because I saw The Tinder Swindler and
No, that's
they all got enticed away by this dude.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they were...
I think older than 25. I don't remember how old they were, but I feel like they probably were older than 25.
Or very close to that age.
And,
but,
like,
yeah.
all of them got, like, swindled away by this dude.
Yeah.
So, I feel like women of any age
Where
can
was
be
he
swindled.
Could he be prosecuted under this somewhere?
No, well, I think this was, like, international. He was, like, claiming to be an Israeli, like, diamond heir or
That's
something.
right. I saw part of it.
I watched the whole thing, like, in a state of disbelief, like, what is going on?
He was actual garbage. Like,
Still
terrible.
is. He's still alive.
And probably still swindling people. But, I mean, well, they weren't, I guess, didn't have that. Well, I think one of them did have promise of marriage. He was, like, telling her that he loved her and wanted to marry her and saw a future with her, blah, 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 blah. That is what's going on here, right?
Yeah, that would fit the bill here. So, in South Carolina, at least, because there's no age
Well, if
limitations.
they had intimate relations.
Yeah, they had to have done the deed.
I mean, I don't know if that was on Tinder Swindler, but maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
Well, it gets worse. So
course it
Connecticut, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Montana, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wyoming all limited to under 21.
Okay.
So I still feel like we're missing the mark here. South Carolina did get this one right on this particular element by not putting a limitation. Now, here's the fun part. There's also age limitations for the man, which we saw in South Carolina. Nebraska and Ohio, instead of 16, it's the man must be over the age of 18. And in New Jersey, if they're married...
Maybe that's the raise the age thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's true. In New Jersey, if married, then there's no age limitation.
If the man is married?
Mm-hmm. If they're single, then he has to be over 18 years old.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
To me, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I guess it depends on, and I don't know what the ages that you can get married without parental consent in these states are, so I don't know if that plays into the age things here, but anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then ultimately, South Carolina did not crack down on this as much as other states have. So South Carolina has made it a misdemeanor. Most states make it a felony.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That is a lot.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think the purpose behind the law, I can see it. I think it's a good idea. I think it needs some work. So
Yeah, definitely now.
Yeah.
Any of the cases that kind of say a man and a woman are very outdated.
But also, like, let's not make an age for the victim. Like, anybody can be enticed away. And the moral of the story is just don't entice people.
And pay attention.
If you say you're going to marry
if
them,
it's too good to be true,
marry them. Exactly. If it's too good to be true, it's not true.
And it's like particularly concerning, and I think this is why I appreciate this law, is because there's some people who will wait to have intercourse till they're married,
Right.
But there are some people who will wait until they're engaged to have intercourse.
So this is like people trying to trick those people, I guess, into giving it up because they said they're going to get married.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So Don't trust them boys.
Mm-mm.
Don't
Never.
trust anyone.
Pretty much.
Well, I have an interesting case for you. So when covering the topic of marriage, I started to look and find, all those standard cases. You saw things, really outdated cases. And I was like, I don't want to cover anything like that. I want to find something that's really out there. Mm-hmm. So there has to be, right? So I think I found the perfect case. This case stems from 2006, so fairly recent. It's not like super old. And we're going to discuss human-animal marriages. It happens.
Oh, gosh.
It happens.
Did not like that.
No.
This is illegal in most jurisdictions, just so you know.
Most?
Most.
Most?
But there are surprisingly numerous accounts of individuals who have claimed to marry animals.
Oh, great.
So I want you guys to take some guesses and tell me what kind of animals you think people are marrying.
I saw a particularly disturbing video about a man who married his horse.
Oh, no.
Don't watch videos
very
on
questionable things. Did not watch that video, but did hear him talking about it in an interview, and I was disturbed for life. So I assume horses are on there.
I read one, and this was a while back. It was so old that this predates Obergefell and the gay marriage being legal. Mm-hmm. And it kind of this was a upsetting on many levels type of case. It was a lady marrying a dolphin, which was deemed to be legal and fine, but it was a female dolphin. And I was like, okay, so what? People of the same human gender can't marry, but you can marry a same-gendered dolphin?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes. So, it was just
Oh my gosh.
very odd. And it was like a wild dolphin. And I was like, that dolphin does not want to marry you.
Animals don't want to marry you. What is happening?
Disclaimer here. Animals do not want to marry any of you. I promise.
So, yeah.
I promise.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of that case, but I remember reading the comments on it, and people were pretty enraged, understandably so over it. And yeah, I'm a little bit scarred.
Well, just to give you a taste of a few, there was dogs, cats, frogs, dolphins, and cows.
Wait, did you say frogs?
I did say frogs.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
So there was.
They put their spouse in the frog jumping competition.
Oh, that's hilarious.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch episode 1.
There were some quite captivating stories when I was looking into this.
Sure there were.
So I wanted to give you a little taste. A 9-year-old tribal girl in eastern India has married a stray dog as part of a ritual to ward off an evil spell on her. But I didn't research that one. Just thought you'd like to know.
Well, that's a tough one to comment on.
Man in India, common theme there, marries dog to atone for stoning to death mating canines.
What?
Mm-hmm. German man married dying asthmatic cat.
For what? So
Well,
he could put the cat in the will or something?
Well,
Can't you do
he
that
had the cat for over 10 years, and he didn't want the cat to die alone, so he married it.
Not alone, it's his pet.
The cat doesn't have to die alone, but you sure as crap don't have to marry it. I am. My brain is just, it's not wrapping around. No. It's a no.
And then the last one, British woman married dolphin. So maybe that was the case you're
I think that
talking about.
maybe was it, because I think it was the case from the UK.
Well, our case today involves the marriage of a man and a goat.
Of course.
Great. I'm so disturbed.
Love it.
Have you guys seen that Black Mirror show?
Yes,
No.
and
Big.
I couldn't get past the first episode, which I didn't
is
realize
it?
you didn't have to watch them all. No
Don't
one
watch
told
it.
me that. Do not watch it.
If
If you're gonna watch the show, start at episode 2. Do not watch the first episode because it will ruin the rest of your life.
Yeah. Someone told me to watch the first episode, and I never fully recovered from
Yeah,
it.
I
It is-
have not recovered from it.
It's
What
very
is it?
disturbing. It's, I don't even know.
We can talk about it off camera.
Yeah.
Oh.
But do
That
not
bad,
go watch
huh?
it.
Yeah, if you
unless-
want to watch the show, start at episode 2. Pretend like episode 1 doesn't exist. They're independent stories. They do not build. No one told me this. I didn't know, but now I'm telling you. So you don't have to go be scarred for life.
Ugh.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about a man and a goat. In 2006, this case made headlines when a man from South Sudan was forced to marry a goat that he was caught having a sexual relationship with. On the night of February 13th, 2006, ironically
This is kind of
on
like the
Valentine's
law.
Day.
He was enticing it and then
Yeah.
had to marry it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, kind of.
This isn't. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, we may need to make an actual in the comments disclaimer, like red flag disclaimer. What?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I'm going to try to pronounce it, Al-Ifi,
I don't know.
heard a loud noise outside
Oh, no.
and went to investigate.
Oh, no.
No.
You should never
Surprisingly-
investigate loud noises.
You just roll over and go back to bed.
Exactly. Nothing good will come of it.
Well, surprisingly, he found a Mr. Charles Tomby
What?
in an intimate relationship with his goat,
Whose goat?
Mr. Alfie's goat.
Oh, no!
Alfie's goat.
Not that it could get any worse, but just
I feel like that makes it worse.
it's not even his goat, right?
Yeah, it's someone else's goat. Come on, leave people's goats alone.
Leave your own goats alone. Like, what?
Leave all the goats alone.
My
Well,
gosh.
Mr. Alfie sprung into action and he captured Mr. Tomby and took him to the town elders.
Okay.
The town elders were like, let's not take him to the police.
I think you should.
Well, they decided, no. We're not going to the police on this matter. He has treated this goat as his wife.
Did he have a wife? Please tell me he didn't.
I
have
did
a
not
wife.
know. There was no information on whether he had a wife.
Okay, well, we're not going to look that up because that will make
Don't
it
wanna
worse.
know.
But the elders ordered Mr. Tomby to pay Mr. Alifi 15,000 Sudanese dinars, which is about $50 US, as a dowry.
I feel like he also should pay him pain and suffering and emotional distress for like having to see that.
That's a very serious case that you could do in your animal court.
Yeah, it is. It is. Animal court. Coming soon.
Mr. Tomby was then given the goat as a wife. And there are actual Facebook pictures of Mr. Tomby and the goat. And the
Was
goat
it a-
is wearing a veil.
Was it a girl goat?
It was a girl goat.
Okay.
I don't know.
She's
if that
wearing
makes
a
it any
veil.
better.
I don't think
And
it does.
we're going
but-
to, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the pictures. We're going to post those. If not, we'll link it. And it's just him and the goat.
We're doing
They're
pictures?
Yes, of the goat.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm very.
It's just the goat and the man. They're not doing anything else. We're not going to post those pictures.
Oh, I'd hope not.
I didn't see any of those pictures. I don't want to see any of those pictures. That's a whole
Oh,
other thing.
Shawanda. Oh my gosh.
Well, the town elders gave the goat a name. So she was called Rose. And they thought this was a joke to name her Rose.
Nothing about this is funny. It's disturbing.
Well, there is a little something funny.
Uh-huh.
There was a later report that Rose had a male kid. But in the report, they went on to make it very clear that the male kid was not of the human kind, in case you were worried. Come on, that's a little funny.
Oh God. I feel like I can't laugh because it's so wrong.
It's very disturbing.
They,
I am
like
disturbed.
they had to make it clear that it wasn't a human kid that the goat had. Like, come on.
Anyone who took biology in high school should know
I
it was
don't-
not of the human kind.
I don't know what kind of education they had South Sudan.
That's true.
Well, the marriage didn't last long because sadly there was a tragic ending.
Oh no.
Rose was scavenging around for scraps in the local town and she choked on a plastic bag and died on May 3rd of 2007.
Wait, when was he forced to marry her?
2006.
I feel like that marriage lasted longer than any.
But I thought it was very sad that he didn't even care for her enough that she had to go
Scavenge.
and choked on a plastic bag and died.
I just don't have a lot to say.
R.I.P. Rose the goat.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This feels like that first episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, I was gonna say R.I.P. our innocence before we had to listen to that.
Oh, please. You listened to episode, what was it, 3? 3?
That wasn't about goats.
We didn't involve animals. It takes it to a whole nother
Well, what did you
level.
want me to find about marriage?
No, this is a good one. It's just holy mackerel.
Well, you think
Crazy.
that case is crazy? There was a man right here in America in 2014.
No!
And
No!
there was an Arizona man that asked a federal court judge to expand on the gay marriage lawsuit that was going on in the state to include marriage to animals and computers.
Because those are just
So cool.
similar. I'm genuinely confused on.
There wasn't much else to find, just that article was like everywhere in Arizona. I'll link to it for you in case you're really wondering. But I couldn't find where the judge had actually made a ruling on this, so
I don't know that
I
he
have to
had to.
believe
Throw
that
it
it
out.
was denied.
Throw it out.
Like, we're not going to expand on gay marriage in that way, or just rule on that
In
at
general.
all. So,
Also, that has nothing to do with, like, in 2014, the gay marriage lawsuit at the time.
apparently it did in Arizona, according to that man who wanted to marry an
Okay,
animal and a
well-
computer.
He just sounds a little bit creepy.
Well, I just wanted you guys to know that it wasn't just, in Britain, Germany, India,
Thank you. That makes it so much better.
Sudan, that is right here in America,
Brings it-
too.
Really brings
Let me
it
tell
home.
ya.
There's weirdos everywhere.
If it's gonna be somewhere, it's gonna be in the United States of America.
That's true. That's true.
The greatest country in the world.
But
But animals wouldn't talk back to you.
because they can't talk at all. They're animals. Just let animals be animals. They don't want to marry you. They don't want to marry each other. They're just trying to live their best life.
I thought you were marrying Kitty.
I just thought they were going to be friends.
Okay, they can just be friends. We don't have to force marriage upon them.
Oh my gosh. I have just a lot. There's so much to unpack in that case.
Yeah. But there really seriously is a whole Facebook post, and there's like 5 or 6 pictures.
doubt that.
And the man is like in handcuffs out in this like just this dirt area, and the goat's there with her little veil on. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't need that imagery.
No, but this
I don't understand why they
man
put the goat in
who
a
owned the
veil.
goat. Because it was a wedding, I guess. to
Well, he
make
got
it
$50.
serious. Yeah, but I feel like you need a lot more than $50 to like recover from that. / like you don't. That doesn't even cover your therapy bill now that you need.
Yeah. Well, only half of it had to be paid up front.
But
Cool. Great.
solid. She
Love
could go
it.
get a great bale of hay. Awesome.
Well, she was going with the other man. The man that gave her to be married got the $50.
He was forced to get
yeah.
it.
Well, because the other man treated it as his wife.
I get that, but I feel like the man, this poor unsuspecting Mr. Alifi, probably deserves significantly more than $50 at what he was forced to witness in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And break up. I'm so sorry to whoever is listening to this.
Maybe y'all should give me like more innocent topics to cover.
Oh,
from
no,
that.
that's
That
very
marriage was an
interesting.
innocent topic.
Well,
It's not.
there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot to work with on that topic. We probably could have broke that down into subunits.
Animal marriage is one.
Well, now we've covered it. We don't have to do it again.
I think. Oh yeah. Nope. Nope.
Well, that's the case I have for you guys.
Next time we'll be a lot more specific when we get a Shauna marriage case. But thank you for teaching us all about that.
No problem. I'm here for you.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to our episode if you've made it this far. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can like and subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google, Spotify, Anchor, Podpage, and YouTube. That's the last one. All right, and we'll have up-to-date information, episode discussions, and all of that on our social media as well, so please do not forget to like and subscribe to that. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Bye!